Gotta love sports.
Welcome to The Playbook, where we're talking sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat, and we're 100% digital, 100% live, and 100% real. Let's count them down. Welcome to The Playbook. It's our digital sports show. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat. We go live every Monday around 1:45 on R&B Philly's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. I want to bring in my co-host for the day, my guy, senior sports and entertainment editor at These Urban Times, Terrell Thomas. Welcome, Terrell.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm loving the jerseys in the background.
You know, I had to do it.
I see you.
It's a week for Philly this week. We will get to it.
Yes, indeed.
Today is Valentine's Day. As you can see, the earrings are very festive. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
I love you to the max. So, you got the, when you remember when you was in high school, you used to send the little grams. You would pay $1. I don't know what they could cost now, but pay $1 to send people like a little Valentine's Day gram.
Shoot, I was doing that in elementary school,
Oh, you was fast. Well, this is what I would have sent. You make my heart skip and beat. Dia says a little to and from. I wouldn't trade you for the world. I wouldn't trade you for the world, Terrell. Okay?
Amen. I wouldn't trade you either.
And all our watchers every week, happy Valentine's Day. So we already alluded to the fact that it was a huge week in Philly. And all thanks to one man that we call the Beard. Congratulations to James Harden and welcome the Beard to Philadelphia. This was huge news last week. James Harden, Paul Millsap traded from the Nets here to Philly, and then Philly sent over, of course, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, 2 first-round draft picks. A lot of chatter. There was a lot of excitement, also a lot of skeptics out there. First, let's talk about the positives. What is the immediate positives that we see from this trade?
I mean, look at it. We have a former NBA MVP on our team. That that to my that's what first and foremost. And then secondly, we have a player who, although he's nursing an injury, and we'll speak on that later on down the road, we now have a player to fill a roster slot. Like Ben Simmons was sitting at home. He wasn't on the court. He wasn't coming to practice. And now with Harden being in the lineup, we have an active guard who will be able to help Embiid. So those are 2 immediate positives that come to mind when I think about the trade.
I mean, I think the same thing. We had dead weight basically with Ben, and he's gone. This is what we wanted. This is what we asked for, right? There was all this drama, which was becoming a distraction to the team, right? Because every time we would talk about the team success, there was always that kind of like sore thumb, like that nail on your side, like, oh, well, Ben Simmons isn't playing, And then, of course, we have another all-star. Now Ben was an all-star, but now we have a shooting all-star, which is what we needed. I think the biggest thing for me is we finally got Joel Embiid some help. We've been asking all year, let's get this man some help. Let's get him some help. He's having an incredible MVP-like year. Let's get him some help. And I think this is the help that we wanted as a fan base for Joel. And now there's a conversation of us being legitimate Eastern Conference Finals contenders. And I even heard people say finals, period. Us going to the finals. So I think the bar has just been raised just by having James Harden on the team, which is nice because the bar has been kind of inconsistent throughout the season because we always felt like we were down one guy, right? What are some of your concerns now?
Well, the two players on which we gave up, I think we'll miss them very much. And Seth Curry, Andre Drummond. It was great that we didn't have to give up Maxey, of course. That was that. I think that'll be pivotal down the line. But Drummond, he was a phenomenal backup for Embiid. I mean, quite honestly, he's a starting center in the NBA. And Seth Curry, he was thriving out here for our Sixers, shooting better from 3 than his brother Stephen Curry, who many know and love. So I do believe we'll miss those players. But you'll get that scoring from James Harden in multiple layers that Curry provides. And with Drummond, I believe the Sixers will be able to pick up a big man somewhere down the road on waivers or on free agency. But those are two of my immediate concerns with them. And of course, I can't overlook when Harden will actually get on the floor.
Right. Do you feel like we gave up too much? Because I that's a lot of the chatter in Philly. Like we gave up a lot to get James Harden. People forget Paul Millsap was a part of the deal too. So and he is a veteran player who has been playing for 15 years, has gone to the finals multiple times. So I feel like he got lost in the shuffle. But even considering Paul, do you think we gave up too much?
No, I don't think we gave up too much, and I'm glad you mentioned Paul Millsap because I do think he'll be a key addition to the Sixers offensively. But I do believe that we filled in a lot of gaps for Brooklyn, if that makes sense. Like they struggle on rebounding and defending the paint. We get them Drummond. We do get them an additional shooter. And whenever Ben Simmons does get on the floor, of course, a lot of us Philly natives and folks in Philly have a sour feeling about Ben Simmons at the moment, but we have to look and admit whenever he gets back on the floor, he is an all-world defender, a former all-star, and he can end up fitting in well with a Kevin Durant who already has that shoot-first mentality. So I think we may have filled in a lot of the gaps, again, in which Brooklyn needed, but I don't think we gave up too much for, a former MVP in James Harden. No.
Yeah. So I think the MVP part gets overlooked because of what he's done recently.
Okay.
He's clearly been unhappy with the Nets, and I think that's what people have first and foremost in their brain. People in Philly, some of the people that are not a fan of this trade are worried about his health. They think we're going to get an overweight James Harden. We know that he's having some issues with the hamstring, I believe, right now. The other issue also has been that people have been voicing is they feel like he's a quitter at this point, right? Because it's been two teams that he's wanted out of. Now, obviously, there were dysfunctional dynamics within both of those teams. I didn't think we knew to the level that the dysfunction was at the Nets between him and the powers that be until he got traded. But are those things a concern? Do you think at all, his health and then the fact him just being labeled at this point as someone who just quits instead of trying to make it work?
On the quitting portion, no, I'm not really concerned right there with James Harden. We knew for a while that James Harden and Daryl Morey wanted to link back up.
Yep.
I mean, this is the move that should have happened, just quite honestly, initially before he went to Brooklyn. I think his loyalty off the court, his relationship with Durant and Kyrie Irving's kind of drew him to Brooklyn. But I think this is where he wanted to be originally. Health-wise, I'm not concerned about us getting an overweight James Harden. But I will keep my eye on his hamstring and just see how that goes down the line. But I think right now, honestly, though, the Sixers will be really ready to get in the playoff mode and getting him in and be ready for the postseason. So I don't have those concerns at all.
Yeah, I didn't think it bothered me either. I mean, even if he is overweight, he's a basketball player. You get into shape. You know what I'm saying? And like most players are playing with some kind of ailment. How many times has Joel gotten injured? Every time he falls, I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack. So it's like, I mean, most players are playing with some kind of injury or ailment. It's the sport, right? So I'm gonna wait to see how the team shapes up before I pass any judgment. I think people were very quick to pass the judgment on what the negatives could be. I need to see them play. I need to see the chemistry. A lot of people were having conversations about James Harden being ball dominant as well as Joel Embiid. How is that going to work out? You got to see. You got to see how it works out. You got, and then you make your critique, My initial feedback, though, when I did hear about the trade, was I was concerned about Joel's backup. That was my initial. I mean, Seth Curry's our second most consistent shooter. Yes, it was sad to see him go, but I feel like James Harden supplements some of that scoring. He will supplement it. I was more so concerned about the backup because I feel like Andre Drummond was a fantastic backup to Joel, better than we've seen some other people in the past. I mean, Dwight Howard was phenomenal as well too, but Dwight's attitude and that chip on his shoulder would get us in trouble a lot and put us in, foul trouble, flagrant fouls. There were plenty of games where his attitude definitely got in the way of us winning. So, you know, I think Andre was solid for us, and I was concerned about that. Now, I was reading that Paul Millsap, according to Doc Rivers, Paul Millsap might be taking that 5 spot because he is kind of like a forward kind of / center. So I think maybe they're going to try to use him to fill that center spot. But I was thinking about our bench. I was really concerned about our bench because, okay, you look at the starting lineup, right? And we have Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, Tobias Harris. And then that 5, I think they're going to rotate that 5, the 5th starter between like Matisse Thybulle and Danny Green, maybe depending on like what the matchups are, right? But then you look at the bench, you have Kork Maz, George Niang, Shake Milton, Isaiah Joe, Paul Reed. Are these the backup guys that are going to get us to the finals?
Well, I do think George that you threw out there, he's a very underrated talent. I think it will be great to kind of see him out with the second unit a little bit more and see how Doc Rivers does decide to install him off on the offensive side. And I do think it's time to see what Reed has to offer as well. I know he's been back and forth to the G League and things of that nature, but a lot of potential in that gentleman and a lot of high hopes. So it's no time like the present. I think it will be good to see what he has to offer.
That was my only concern because, again, we did give up 3 players. Even though we didn't have Ben to start with, we still, at least I always still felt like we were missing one person, right? Because we were already down one person with Ben. So it's like now we have someone, but we traded 3 players for 2 players. So I'm still feeling like, okay, I'm worried about the bench. And once our starters come off, are they going to be able to maintain a lead? Which is what all great championship players and teams have. They have a great bench. They have a great backup, a great roster of guys that may not be all-stars, but they can keep you in the game while your starters rest. So maybe Paul Millsap is going to fill that center role. I mean, he is averaging 13 points, 7 rebounds. He has been to the conference finals 3 times with the Jazz, the Hawks, and also the Nuggets. So I hope he fills that one role so we can build around him. Now, when this happened, there was literally like a campaign that the Sixers built called "The Beard is Here." And immediately this billboard went up in South Philly. And here's another thing. I literally received a call from someone that works for the Sixers who I don't know. Somehow this person has my number, so I must be like on a roster of Sixers fans or something. And the lady said, I saw that you've been to a playoff game in the past. I just want to let you know that the beard is here.
Get them tickets.
So if you want to buy tickets, that's exactly it. Now would be the chance. And I was like, the girl's name's Courtney. I was like, Courtney, you calling my personal number to tell me the beard is here? And do I want to buy tickets? So this is a legitimate campaign to try to get people excited for James Harden. Now, along with the chatter of the trade came in the memes. Let's watch this.
So where we going, y'all? Where we going? Jamaica? Las Vegas? We gotta hit some... Get the out. You don't hear me? Am I stuttering? Get the out, man. Get out of here. The team meet.
Shade. Wait, but why was Ben going like this the whole time? Now you can't come to Philly without getting a ticket from the PPA. So of course this meme popped up. Welcome to Philly, James. Here's your ticket. Also, word on the street is that Mr. James Harden is a connoisseur of the strip clubs. So all the strip clubs started to welcome him. We're not gonna post any of those.
Little corny strip clubs up there. Little corny clubs.
This is a family show. Okay. So when are we going to see James Harden along with the rest of the team? Well, apparently he's going to be introduced in Tuesday. That's tomorrow's pregame press conference. He will be wearing number 1 from what we're hearing. Let's watch this amazing jersey that I'm going to buy. I mean, he's going to be right here, right? So next to my Maxey and Joel Embiid jersey is going to be right here. Is going to be the James Harden jersey. Let's watch. there. Get the press going.
Yeah, that thing was yeah.
I was like, okay.
Get me one of those number unos as well.
Hello, but I'm gonna get it when it dies down a little bit because y'all not charging me $200 for that jersey, okay?
They just were selling them at the last game and it was flying off the shelves.
Wait, what?
They were selling them at the last Sixer game at the Wells Fargo Center.
Already?
Yep. They 165. They had the red ones and the blue ones at the souvenir store at the gift shop well, you could only get them at the time at the Wells Fargo Center though. The day he landed, they had them things. I guess the day you got the call, they had the jersey in the store.
I told you this is like a planned out thing. This wasn't like a last minute. No, they had billboards ready. To your point, they had jerseys ready. I'm gonna need that to come down some. I'm gonna wait for it to come down. Now, when do you think he's supposed to be playing? Because right now they're evaluating him. Obviously, he's dealing with the hamstring situation. Maybe they got to see physically what kind of state he's in. When do you see him playing with the team?
Well, James Harden did actually participate in his first shoot around in team practice earlier this afternoon, so that was dope to see him. A lot of Sixer media that we know, they had him all up and down the timelines. But the Sixers did announce after practice today that James Harden will be out until after the All-Star break. There was a lot of hope and anticipation that after tomorrow's pressure, as you mentioned, when James Harden and Paul Millsap are formally introduced as members of the Sixers, that he would possibly play tomorrow night. The Sixers have a national game against the Celtics tomorrow evening, on Tuesday evening. So there was a lot of hope that Harden would play, but it will be after the All-Star break. He's still just healing from his hamstring injury, and he also will not participate in Sunday's All-Star game. So he not only will he not play for the Sixers until after the All-Star break, he won't be participating in Sunday's All-Star game either.
I'm sure Kevin Durant is happy because he didn't pick him to be on his team, but we'll get to that. Real quickly, now, Seth Curry was an innocent bystander in all of this. He was an excellent contributor for us when Joel wasn't producing or couldn't produce. Seth was. A lot of people were upset to see him go. Here is his brother, Steph, talking about the trade.
Any thoughts on what was the mega move of the deadline that even had so many layers to it, but obviously impacted your brother?
I had to change my favorite teams in my phone, get the alerts from Philly to Brooklyn. So it's obviously a big move, big splash. I know he's kind of caught in the crossfire of Philly making a move like that, and because he loved it there and loved playing, and they were playing well. But you obviously got to make that move, and it's a win-win for him. Hopefully, he can still be on a contender and be impactful, in the playoff, chase with Brooklyn. So excited to see him in a new uni.
Well, he don't seem that excited.
Yeah, not at all.
He was like, why y'all asking me about my brother? We are running out of time real quickly. Let's say congratulations to the Super Bowl champs, the Los Angeles Rams. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20, barely beat them, but congratulations. Congratulations to Cooper Kupp, who was named the MVP. He finished with 8 catches for 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. The reason why I said barely beat them is because, in my opinion, the Bengals would have won this game had the refs not called all these fouls in the last 2 minutes of the game and literally gave the Rams the opportunity to not only run down the clock, but score a touchdown under a minute. And it didn't give the Bengals any chance to throw anything down the field and respond. So I really think the refs kind of messed up this game, at least for me.
I mean, it was some funny refereeing on both sides, because the touchdown in which the Bengals scored in the beginning of the second half was an offensive pass interference because the Bengals receiver had Jalen Ramsey's mask. So it went both ways. But as you mentioned, congratulations to the Rams. I am glad that Odell Beckham Jr. gets a ring, although unfortunately he suffered an injury. Looks like another torn ACL. But congratulations to the Rams.
Yeah, well, everybody was out because it was in LA and, Hollywood. Every artist, every star, everyone was either inside or waiting outside to get inside. Let's watch Cardi B and Offset at the game. Sir. Sir.
Shaq being
I
Shaq.
need you to put your tongue away. It wasn't Valentine's Day yet, sir.
Shaq had plans. He had post-game plans over there.
Sir, that is none of our concern. 2 Chainz, Justin LaVoy, and YG Tyga were also there. Watch this. Everybody was there. I feel like they literally gave all the artists a section. Like, everyone was there. Jay-Z, big shout out to Jay-Z, who literally produced the whole halftime show. One of the most incredible halftime shows I've seen. He was there with his daughter, Blue Ivy. Beyonce was also there. Megan Thee Stallion was there with Christina Aguilera. Drake was sitting there. Kanye West was there with Antonio Brown and North. That's Kanye in the middle. A lot of people said this is how Kanye was watching the game.
Hilarious.
You have to like squint to see what's going on. Rihanna, pregnant Rihanna was there. Ludacris, Busta Rhymes, a whole bunch of people. Now, this amazing halftime show. Man, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, and Mary J. Blige. A surprise performance from 50 Cent, which it only made sense because all of these people are literally offsprings of Dr. Dre, with the exception of Mary J. Blige, right? Anderson .Paak playing the drums for Eminem was incredible. Eminem took a knee. I don't know if you've noticed it. I know I missed it during the first performance, and then I caught it again online. There he is taking a knee. Now, people were saying that the NFL tried to stop him from taking this knee, but the NFL is denying that, saying that they knew he was going to take the knee and they didn't say anything about it. I mean, what an incredible show, right?
Yeah, it was beyond incredible. It was great to see all those legendary musical artists out there. I was the same as you. I enjoyed every second of it. It was great to see Dr. Dre get his flowers and see how much what we're influenced by, what the world is influenced by, and the sound comes from Dr. Dre. So that was dope to see. And hey, Mary's in the family now because, like you said, 50 was and she's on power, so she's in the family somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I like that this was like the first 100% hip hop show in LA. And it's like did you notice that map of Compton?
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard.
LA on the field and then the houses. The whole thing was just so incredible. So it was so good to see. Real quickly, the All-Star game is this Sunday at 8:00. Let's take a look at Team Durant, which was shady that Kevin Durant did not pick James Harden and chose Rudy Gobert instead. Kevin will not be playing. And then let's look at Team LeBron. James will not be playing, so now they're kind of down one member. It's going down this Sunday, All-Star game. And then hopefully James Harden will play after that. Real quickly, let's look at the Sixers and what their schedule is for this week. According to UT, this will be a James Harden free week. So
yes.
Tomorrow night, the Celtics, the Bucks. That's gonna be an incredible game. Timberwolves and Knicks. What do you have to say about this?
Well, we'll just get the Celtics and the Bucks before the All-Star break, so that's cool. Two tough teams before we go out, but I'm gonna say the Sixers will go 1-1. I think they'll beat the Celtics, and it'll be a tough one to get the Bucks when we come back against the All-Star break. Hopefully, James Harden will be in the lineup, and they'll go 2-0 in those games Friday and Sunday.
Do you think they're gonna unveil him in an away game? I feel like that wouldn't even feel right. I feel like his first game needs to be a home game.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna get him on the court as quickly as they can. Although I know they're waiting for the playoffs after the All-Star break. I think they'll need to get him on the court so he can build some chemistry. He's a vet; he'll know how to get it done. So it would be great to see his first game at home. Don't get me wrong, with all the unveiling, as you mentioned, the beard is here. That may be the option. But I'm gonna still look at that Timberwolves game to see him come back against a fairly easy opponent.
All right, we'll see. Thank you for watching the Playbook every Monday at 1:45 on our digital pages at R&B Philly, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch around 1:45. Sometimes we run a little late because I literally hop off air and then I go to do this. So, right. So, T, where can they find you?
You can check me out at Eldorado2452 on social media. Also, please visit These Urban Times, and you can catch me here as well with Mina on the Playbook.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thanks for watching The Playbook. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat, and you got something you want to talk about next week? You can always hit me up on social media at Mina SayWhat, and make sure you join us 1:45 next Monday on R&B Philly's Facebook, Twitter,